Hey guys, so let's get started. Given my clinical experience of course materials and self-assessment and reflection through my current OT competency with spinal cord injuries, the following practical skills and knowledge are needed to perform an OT evaluation. So first, you need to have confidence in your knowledge and skills. You need to understand the dermatomes and which nerves and body parts functions are affected at each level. Understanding the ASIA scales and what that means in terms of what is expected in overall function and occupational performance. This helps determine which parts of the body are able to improve and which tasks will need to be adapted in order for the client to be most independent. You need to be able to do a good manual muscle test and range of motion screen. You need a good understanding of proper body mechanics and transfers and positioning of the client. You need to understand proper positioning for the client, both in bed and the wheelchair, which helps prevent contracture, skin shearing or tearing, and pressure sores. You need to understand other body systems that are affected at each level and how that relates to the OT plan of care and goals such as the education of bowel and bladder programs and things like that. You need a good knowledge of various vendor companies for wheelchairs and adaptive equipment. You also need to be able to write a letter of medical need for special equipment in order to help provide the client with the needed equipment at home through their insurance, because these things get very expensive. What knowledge and experience do I currently have with spinal cord? So through my professional knowledge and experience, I understand the following. So I understand and I have an idea of what true function is attainable for the client to be able to complete at certain levels of injury. I understand different types of adaptive equipment and durable medical equipment that may be required for bed mobility, feeding, and transfers. I understand how to use different types of mechanical lifts and how to educate family members on how to use them properly. I understand the signs and symptoms of autonomic dysreflexia and what to do if this occurs if I'm with the client. I understand how to avoid blood pressure issues with new injuries when getting people out of bed for the first few times and through their time in inpatient rehab, such as ACE wrapping, abdominal binders, positioning, and making sure that they're in like a good chair, that like a tilt-in space, so that if they do have blood pressure issues in the chair, you can immediately drop them to a better position so that their blood pressure goes back up or comes back down. I understand how to write. I have an idea of how to write certain letters of medical need for insurance companies for a hospital bed or roll-in shower chair. However, the wheelchair is a whole different bear because there's so many different types and specific words that you have to use. So I understand how to assess the client's current range of motion and muscle strength. I understand what's important to address in like the acute care setting in order to prepare them for inpatient rehab, as well as some specific things to address in the inpatient rehab setting, especially like what to put in your documentation to make sure that they go to the right places for rehab and that insurance pays as much as possible. I feel confident that I can complete a skilled and beneficial OT eval with a little extra time, and as well as a plan of care for the client with the spinal cord within the inpatient rehab setting. I understand various forms of braces, such as a C-collar and TLSO braces, on how to don and doff them during the shower, and ways of positioning so that they can still get a shower, as well as change out the pads and things like that without breaking their spinal precautions. What knowledge do I need to develop? I need to develop my skills in writing better letters of medical need for other specific items, such as for the car or the house or wheelchairs. I need to further develop my skills on other ways to complete various transfers at different levels of injury. I know even on the hands-on clinic, I learned a lot from other people who've worked with the population on, how to prevent a fall or an injury with spasticity and things like that. So I thought that was really helpful. I need to understand on how to educate clients on self-cathing, because there's so many different types of catheters and things that I still need to learn about. I need to first learn about them, and then I need to learn how to best educate the clients with their current situation. I need to develop my skills on what to work with on clients past the inpatient rehab setting, like outpatient and home health. We're used to the basics in inpatient rehab, so I would love to learn more about once they're out of the hospital and home, like things to work with them on. I need to understand and increase my knowledge on adaptive equipment that's available for homes in the community, because there's constantly new things coming out, new ideas, and I would love to learn more about that. So what practice skills do I need to develop? I need to develop for handling and transfers and medical management. I definitely need to develop my skills in splinting and orthotic management. I'm terrible at splitting, and I always have to get help from other people. I can always improve my handling and transfer skills, and also the medical management. So in my facility, we're lucky enough to have a physician who specializes in spinal cord. So any medical stuff that comes up, I always refer them to the doctor. However, in the home health and outpatient setting, you don't have that doctor right there. So I would like to learn more about the medical management and the side effects of some of those medications to help the client feel more comfortable at home. So what resources do I utilize in developing my knowledge? So I have found that YouTube is a great learning tool for both me and the spinal cord population. I found training videos that are completed by other specialized hospitals for both family training, transfers, and general information. A great resource through a hospital system is the Shepherd Center based in Atlanta, Georgia. They have a great online YouTube channel that teaches you a lot, and the families and the clients themselves. Another great YouTube tool is through people who are in the spinal cord population themselves. A great guy who has a YouTube channel, his name is Chris Colwell. He is, I think, a C7 injury, but he lives alone, and he has great videos on IADL tasks such as meal prep to show what type of Tupperware works better that he can be independent with, and different tasks like that. Also basics, the ADL, like he can use a Hoyer lift himself, and it's really neat. So it's really cool to show patients who someone in their situation is doing it, and it gives them hope, as well as like the intimacy talk that a lot of patients don't want to have with us because A, we're not in their shoes, and B, like it's just awkward for them. So there's a lot of good YouTube channels for people who are in the situation who openly talk about it, and that seems to be most helpful in our world. I have other multiple OT mentors who specialize in spinal cord population that I work with on a daily basis, and one mentor who is certified in the assistive technology. They're great teachers, and they love to help out when needed. I often work with them to learn some of the latest research and other techniques and formulate client-centered plans of care. Finally, the American Spinal Cord Association is always a great resource for the latest research and other website resources. They range anywhere from specific facilities to clinical trials that are going on and personal experiences. You can also get great contact information for funding resources in your specific area or around the world. So, all right, guys, that is my professional reflection on the spinal cord injury population in the OT practice. Thanks.